Welcome back, father lovers, to a brand new episode of Last Call at Pemberton's, the best damn How I Met Your Father podcast on the internet. I am one of your hosts, Josh, here with my best bud, John. How you doing, man?
Nick Miller from the streets of Chicago.
Wah, wah, wah. That's right. We're here to talk all about New Girl. That's right, folks. Oh wait, I think that's the wrong show. I think we're on the wrong show here, guy.
Well, you're on the wrong show because of pills, baby.
Pills, baby. I literally just finished binge watching Parks and Rec, and that scene always cracks me up.
Listen, all I'm going to say
Why are you like this? Pills, baby.
Love it. All I'm going to say is I have so much fun recording this show every fucking time we do it.
Absolutely, man. It's a fucking blast. Yes. I hope you guys enjoy listening to it.
You know, it's funny that you say it's a blast because JFK had a blast one time straight to his head.
Well, I think we've just entered the realm of historical nonfiction, and that is definitely not the podcast that we're on. So we're going to pivot just like our friends do, and talk about season 2, episode 6 of How I Met Your Father, Universal Therapy. That's right. This episode aired on February 28th of 2023, directed by the GOAT, Pamela Fryman.
Fry!
Fucking awesome. Love her.
Dude, we gotta come up with a, you know how in Parks and Rec, their John Ralphio does the raps for people?
Mm-hmm.
We gotta come up with one for Fry.
Okay, we'll have to think about that, and then we'll get back to you guys. It'll be on an episode. You won't know it's coming, but it'll be
on either How I Met Your Mother or Father. Keep up with us.
That's
maybe
right.
It'll be a behind the scenes episode that we throw up every once a year.
Maybe, who knows? It'll be there, and you won't know it's coming till it hits you square in the face.
Done that to a bunch of women.
Done that to yourself.
This episode's gonna get flagged for like 13 different reasons.
Loving it. All right, so this episode was also written by Christopher Ensel, who was also the writer and story editor on The Good Place. If you guys haven't watched The Good Place, it's a fantastic show. Highly recommend it. He also apparently appears in this episode as a character simply named Man. I'm not sure where he was, but apparently he's in there somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
I didn't see what he looked like, so I wasn't sure where he was. But he's in there as Man. Yeah, just Man.
No, not you. We named the monkey Hey Man.
Yeah, we named Annie's Boobs.
Annie's Boobs.
Yeah.
Why do monkeys always get the coolest names? Pirates of the Caribbean, they got the Monkey Jack.
Yeah, because they're awesome.
Community, they have Annie's Boobs.
Yeah.
And in Rock of Ages, it's Hey Man.
And in the View Askew universe, it's Suzanne.
Suzanne, yeah.
Granted, she's not a monkey. She's a member of the Great Ape family. She's a member of the Great Ape family.
Headley. She's a member of the Great Apes.
Yep, member of the Great Ape family. All right. The summary for this episode: Sophie encounters an obstacle with her new beau. Ellen uses her new job insurance to see a therapist, and Jesse gives Valentina a hand at work while Sid and Charlie try to sell terrible wine.
Wow, that's actually a good synopsis.
Yeah, they hit everything right on the head there, man. I actually thought that was well done.
Where would we like to start this week?
Okay, I just want to start off because this was mentioned right at the beginning. Apparently, by the time 2050 hits in their universe, Ariana Grande has been president and has brought to this country universal health care.
So you caught that too, huh?
I'm just saying, I'm down for it. Let's see it.
Ariana Grande is president?
I mean, if she's going to bring universal health care, sure.
I'm down. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's cute. She's got a good personality.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a while because she's not even legally able to be president right now for the next... I looked up her age. I think she's 29. So she's got some time before she can even legally be president. But just saying. I thought that was a really kind of interesting catch. We're kind of filling out little bits of their universe.
Show to celebrities as president.
Yeah.
Young Rock tackled the possibility of The Rock running as president, which he had talked about for a while. Yeah. And honestly, I think people would get behind Dwayne Johnson if he ran for president. A lot of people like him.
Yeah, probably. I'd like to know what his like policies
political
and stuff.
stance?
Like what are his policies and stuff? Because like I like him as an actor and as a person, but I honestly don't even know what party he is. So
honestly, I don't know.
That's something I would have to, but I'd be up for him like getting out there and telling us that stuff. That'd be cool. Yeah. Find out. But yeah, this isn't a show about politics. This is a show about, 30-somethings banging each other. That's what it's about.
Yes, that's right. We're going to talk about the real Las Vegas housewives.
Boom. I mean, I doubt any of them are 30-somethings.
You're right. Jersey Shore.
There it is. I'm actually...
Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
I don't know how old they are now, but I don't think they were in their 30s at that time, though, either.
No, they weren't.
I think they were in their 20s. So, man, we got to find something in between.
Total Divas?
That might be more accurate. Yeah, maybe. I also, something I wanted to mention that I thought was hilarious. They turned Don't Wake Daddy into a drinking game.
Yeah.
My daughter has that game. I have played that game more times than I could count. The idea of turning it into a drinking game, it never crossed my mind. And now I'm upset that I never thought of it.
Oh, man.
I would have totally brought that to your house and just be like, let's bust out the booze. It would have been hilarious. Maybe that's how we get plastered for that episode that they want us to do. There it is.
Well, it's funny because me and you have done multiple drinking things to multiple things. Mm-hmm. Like the New Year's, we decided we wanted to get plastered because neither of us worked the next day.
Yep.
And oh man, was it a horrible idea?
Yeah. Hey, let's watch Jay and Silent Bob and take a shot every time they say the word fuck.
Yeah. Which, God forbid, both of us at the time knew that movie well enough to know that was a bad idea, but we didn't realize just how often the word fuck gets said in that movie.
It's true.
So then, second movie was the 60s Batman movie, and we were going to do it anytime Robin said, "Holy something, Batman."
Yeah.
And we didn't even make it past the opening load screen on that.
It's true. Yeah. That was a time. I don't know if I'm going to say it was a good time, but it was a time. I'll say that. But have you ever played Don't Wake Daddy? I'm just curious.
No, I have not. I have a lot of board games that are stacked up right next to me. I have Ants in My Pants, Chutes and Ladders. I got two different versions of Chutes and Ladders. I got the old version plus the new one.
We got Snakes and Ladders. It's the off-brand version.
I so badly want to do my impersonation right now, and it's so... I'm going to do it just for the people. Escalators! Which, I mean, kind of fits into the show because this is a spin-off of How I Met Your Mother. And for those of you who don't know, Patrick Star is voiced by the exact same guy who plays the father of Marshall Erickson.
Yep. It's very true.
Escalators.
But yeah, a lot of interesting kids games out there.
Oh, so many. But no, I've never played Don't Wake Daddy.
Yeah, it's you have to make it around the board, and you have to you pick cards and they have numbers on them, and you have to press the alarm clock a certain number of times, and you have to if you make Daddy pop up out of bed, you got to go back to start.
Oh shit.
So I'm assuming that in their game, they then also have to drink. That's what they were doing. That's what it seemed like. And it seems pretty interesting to me. I enjoyed it. So outside of that stuff, let's see, what do we got? We got Sophie and Ellen both having their own separate storylines, which I thought were pretty interesting.
Ellen, you're not wrong.
Ellen's story kind of weaves in and out, though, a little bit. because it ties into the. Then we have Vale and Jesse together, which I thought was fascinating.
I think it's the first time that they've had a story arc together.
I was gonna say I don't think we've seen them together. And then Sid and Charlie, that's always a good time in my book.
I like when Sid and Charlie are together.
Yeah.
Because theirs is the one I would really like to talk about first.
All right. I was just gonna ask that. So let's dive in to Sid and Charlie's exploits at the bar. So
Sid comes back from somewhere. He says it, and I didn't make note of it, and I'm sorry about that.
He just came back from California because he was visiting Hannah.
Fair. Probably taking advantage of those air miles they got hooked up with.
Yeah, man. They got a bunch of them.
So he comes back and he asks Charlie how things are at the bar, and Charlie's like, well, things were okay, except for one thing. And it turns out that Charlie got swindled into buying like 10 cases of this shitty mint rosé wine.
Yeah.
And Charlie's like, this is like fucking swill. And they're like, how do we get rid of it? And they come up with this great fucking scheme to market.
Ellen comes up with it, though.
Well, true. She does.
Yeah.
Well, they came up with the idea to market it as, well, no, you're right. It is Ellen.
They just came up with the celebrity. Yeah.
So Ellen's like, well, everybody's into the whole celebrity thing right now, so you got to find a good celebrity. And then it swings back to Jesse or Sid and Charlie, and they're like, Judge Judy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because, I mean, face it, who didn't love being at home watching Judge Judy when you were a kid?
Right?
She is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And for any of you watching this podcast or listening, and you've never, ever seen Judge Judy Shilan, right? However you say her name, go look her up online, and you will not be sad.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a new show out. You know, like the fact that she's still doing it is pretty awesome, I think. And I love that they named it Judy Juice.
I mean, the only thing that I thought when they said Judy Juice is in my head, because it's a comedy show, I thought Trudy Judy.
Trudy Judy, baby. You know it.
And I was like, so in my mind, I'm like, Trudy Judy. And then I started thinking about how I could have wrote a good jingle for the mint rosé.
For Judy Juice?
Yeah. How's your Friday?
And so they post about it, and people just start swarming into the pub. Dude.
They do.
They just come in like crazy.
Well, I think it's kind of funny though. They put her picture and everything on the label.
Yeah, they did.
And I was like, oh shit! Like, I knew as soon as they started doing it, I'm like, this is gonna somehow backfire.
It's funny because before I even watched the episode, they had already revealed that Judge Judy was on the show.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter that she was on it. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. Judge Judy's going to be in the episode. I didn't know what the context was at the time. But then Judge Judy just, I was like, oh, I think I know what's going to happen here. And I was right.
I mean, I got to say, though, I'm not a big wine drinker to start. There's not many wines that I'll pop a cork on and be like, this is my kind of wine.
Yeah, agreed.
Rosé's not horrible. I can get down with a fine rosé as long as it's the right mixture.
Yeah.
Mint rosé, though, sounds absolutely atrocious.
Just mint. Honestly, most mint things are hit or miss. You know what I mean? It's like, it's real difficult.
What about my mojito?
Mojito, man. Hells yeah.
Made with real mint.
I think most mint things, like I said, are hit or miss. So it's like they may be really good or they're going to be shitty, like apparently this was.
Do you remember the big bottle of creme de menthe we had?
Oh, my God.
We used to try to make so many things with it. Hot chocolates, frozen hot chocolates.
We didn't know what to do with it, man. Like, It was a big bottle.
It was a bigger than a 1 liter bottle, people. Like,
Yeah,
this shit was fucking huge.
It was like a 1.5, whatever. I think that was called a handle or whatever. Yeah. It was a big ass bottle, man.
Look at Josh with the bartender lingo over here. We had a handle of creme de menthe.
Hey, man, our podcast is called Last Call at, and then we name a bar. So I feel like we should at least know a little bit of lingo. Just saying.
Yo,
come
dude,
on.
Just give me a 7-7 straight up. Neat.
2 fingers, bro. 2 fingers. That's how I like my drinks.
That's how I like my women. 2 fingers.
That's all they got is 2 fingers?
Pointer and pinky thumb.
Pinky thumb.
She knitted those shorts.
She knitted those shorts with just her pointer and her pinky thumb.
Nice French.
Man, we are referencing so many different shows throughout
this is why episodes. People come to listen to us.
It's true.
We are a train wreck podcast that is enlightening, educational, and fun for the whole family.
Wow. I mean, I don't know about the whole family, but yeah, sure.
All right.
So
face.
Yeah, so like you said, they slap Judge Judy's face on this bottle. People start loving it. They're buying it all. They decide they got to order more.
Question, do they have bad taste in this wine, or is the wine just not as bad as they think?
I mean, spoiler alert, Judge Judy comes in, and she even says it tastes like garbage.
That's my point. But I mean, there's literally like 50 people in that bar at one point. They're all drinking this wine, and not one person's like, "Oh, it tastes bad."
Well, they say it's because people love stuff that has celebrities. They just want to be part of it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. Like, I have seen some pretty stupid looking shoes from certain celebrities, but people buy them like crazy, man.
That's fair.
Like, I've seen a lot of weird stuff.
I guess it's just weird for me because we did the bar scene. I was never quiet about not liking a drink. Like, do you remember my first draft beer? And I was literally like, "No, thank you." That tastes like dry saltines.
That was the Yingling.
Yeah. It was like, wow, Yingling. And I thought it tasted like dry saltines.
Yeah.
Shit. Look at my first IPA. I did it on an episode of Off the Ropes. I bought a 16-ounce tall boy. It was a Stone Cold IPA. I cracked it, took one sip, and went, "This tastes like grass clippings and cat piss."
Oh, it's so true.
I wasted an entire 16-ounce beer, and I've never tried my American lagers because I'm afraid.
Yeah, I get it. IPA.
IP freely?
Mr. IP freely? Anybody?
Guys, I'm looking for butts. Looking for see more butts.
All right. Speaking of seeing more butts, people like to get drunk and then show off their butts. No, I don't know. But they order 10 more cases of this wine.
10 more.
Because they're like, we're going to be rich. Stacks on stacks on stacks, man.
Here's the thing, though. Theoretically, though, they're not going to be rich because I don't know what the markup on that fucking wine was, that unless they were pushing it dirt cheap because of how horrid it was.
You're talking about the vendor?
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
As long as it was dirt cheap and they were trying to move it at like a low rate cost, then they would make their money off it. But if they're paying like,
I wouldn't be shocked if it's like a $10 bottle of wine.
That's fair. In that moment, then I could understand.
And then you slap Judge Judy on it. You could charge $10 for a glass. I
was gonna say, with a good glass of rosé, you can charge anywhere from like $6 to $7 a glass.
Yeah, and with Judge Judy's name on it, they could probably charge more.
Well, they're also in New York City, so it's going to be slightly higher. It's probably going to be like $12 a glass.
It's probably So you're probably looking at making $50 a bottle, $60 a bottle.
That's fair. And there's like usually 12 bottles in a case.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're profiting.
Yeah.
As long as they're cheap, though, they have to be cheap.
Yeah. And I think they were, because I don't think she'd be pushing it that hard. You know what I mean? Nobody would do it, especially nobody would buy it.
Here's the only part of that actually upsets me, because, and maybe it's just me, I understand that Charlie and Sid are friends. Charlie's taking care of the bar while Sid's out. But are you telling me that Charlie has financial right to be buying stock of liquor for the bar?
Yeah, Charlie shouldn't be allowed. But here, the thing is, it's like he got duped into accepting it. What happens even if he let's say he doesn't have like the authority to do that? It's already there. Like, he accepted it.
That is true.
Like, what do you do?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. I think that's.
I would. Is a bar owner though, even being my friend, I might be a little pissed off.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I think if they hadn't come up with the idea, I think he would have been pissed off about it.
Oh, probably.
But they came up with the idea fairly quickly.
Well, you're not wrong. Well, TV show, man, you can't waste time.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true.
But I got to say though, nonetheless, they got a fun adventure out of it. They got to meet Judge Judy.
Yeah, because Judge freaking Judy, man, shows up, and she is not happy with what they're doing.
I love, and again, line of the episode goes to Charlie. I love when Sid's like, "You tagged her actual Instagram in the photo," and he's like, "Well, I wanted to make it look legit."
Yeah.
You got to give it to Charlie, man. He had best interest at heart, and he wasn't fucking with people.
Yeah.
If you fucking make a spam account and you tag somebody in that shit in today's day and age is going to go viral.
Yeah.
You know, you got to make it as legit as possible. So what did he do? He made it legit.
He did. He did. And she took all the wine.
Yeah, just took it.
And then made her own version, dude.
Yeah. I thought about that. Like, I was like, man, I'm like, if they could have found a way to have like trademarked what they had, they could have technically.
That's the problem. You can't, because it's her name and likeness.
That is true.
You watch the View Askew-niverse. You should know what likeness rights are at this point.
I can take that a step further and say I understand intellectual properties.
Yeah. They're actually lucky. She's a judge. She could have sued them. Like, she knows the law.
100%.
Yeah.
And I thought about that. I was like, I mean, they could have picked up the phone and called the cops. I'm like, but
they could have just brought the cops with them, whatever. Yeah.
Here's where I want to parallel to How I Met Your Mother for a second.
Okay.
They ran outside to try and get a picture. They clearly didn't get the picture. I think that in Judge Judy's case, she should have let them at least have the picture.
I mean, we don't know. They might have gotten the picture.
No, I'm pretty sure when they came back in, he's like, they didn't get the picture.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I didn't.
I thought he did. He might not have. I could be wrong. But what I was thinking is, you know how, like, essentially due to the Red Door episode of How I Met Your Mother, they inadvertently tell you that Regis Philbin and Marshall are kind of friends. He has Regis's cell phone number.
No, Barney.
No,
Barney.
Or yeah. Well, no, Barney works out at the gym with him.
Yeah, but Barney's the one who messaging
you're right.
him, is what I'm saying.
You're right.
Yeah.
So Barney inadvertently knows Regis.
Yeah.
I was thinking, how cool would it be though if, because Judge Judy got her wine start off of Sid and Charlie, if she let them hang her picture up with like them in Pemberton's.
That would be dope.
And then,
actually.
Then they start legally selling her wine.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, Judge Judy. It would have been like the Red Door incident. Like, Regis Philbin eats here. I eat here.
Yeah, actually, that would be really cool. If like we just like come, a random episode that we go over to Pemberton's and there's the picture of them with Judy, that would actually be really cool if they did.
Like
that.
I said, that was just a random idea I had while I was watching the episode. I thought about the similarity there, and I'm like, either way, it's cool that she was on the episode.
Yeah,
and she still looks phenomenal for her age.
Yeah, absolutely. And that the wit and humor was there.
I've always loved Judge Judy. I used to watch her all the time when my mom and I lived together and stuff. Like, she's so fucking funny. And I know that she gets crass and like in people's faces.
Yeah.
But she's a fucking judge.
It's true. Yeah. But I loved it. So that honestly, I think that was probably my favorite part of the episode was all of this. But the rest of the episode was good too. But I think that was my favorite part.
I want to talk about Sophie next because she kind of annoyed me in this episode.
All right. Yeah, let's.
And I love that we get to talk about Ellen in like every step we do because she weaves herself through every.
Yeah.
So
like her own story is kind of short.
Yeah.
But she literally impacts everybody else's story at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with Sophie, again, new guy this week. His name is...
I mean, it's the guy from the last episode. It's Oscar.
Oh yeah, it is still Oscar. Mm-hmm. But true, but we get more character development with him.
Yeah. Because remember in the last episode, I was like, I wondered if he even was going to come back.
Yeah.
And then we came up to this episode. I was like, well, I guess he did.
But it's just weird because he seemed different slightly in this episode to me. Like he didn't seem like I don't know.
I think he was. I mean, it was our first time seeing him, and he's just trying to impress and like I don't know. It's it's very different when you're like being set up. I think in general, just a different vibe. So plus we didn't get a lot with him in general. So
that is true. I really like that Sophie has one hang up with him though. Is he was giving her a hug. She felt something. And I thought it was going to be a cross. Like, I really thought they were going to go religion on this one.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, where the fuck is this going? And he, like, slowly unbuttons his shirt to reveal he's got this, like, fucking gaudy bling on.
See, I went a whole different way. I thought, like, he starts undoing his shirt. I was like, does he have some sort of, like, medical device? That's what I thought.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like he has like some sort of like weird medical device and like because he's got some sort of crazy health thing.
Maybe he's wearing a wire because he's a cop. Did you know he was a cop?
I didn't know he was a cop.
But so like I said, he's wearing this like god awful fucking like necklace.
Yeah,
and like it's pretty horrible. Like it's big. So she's like, oh, okay. And then she goes and tells the gang, and they're all like, okay, what about it? And she's like, well, is it weird? It's weird that he's got like this big necklace on, right? And they're like, say something, which I agree. I would have asked.
Yeah.
But
just be upfront and honest about it. But instead, what she does is she begs Ellen to ask her therapist for her. And it's
and so here's my thing. This is where I started to feel bad for Ellen in this episode because she mentioned to cover Ellen really quickly while we're talking about everybody else.
Yeah.
Ellen mentioned she's starting her actual therapy with her actual therapist. And then flash to here, Sophie's like, oh, while you're going to talk to your therapist, sneak this in there and see what she says.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's funny because like a few episodes back, future Sophie makes the reference that the group like almost ruined her therapy.
Yeah.
And we see that here.
Yeah. We get a real taste of that here. I'm sure this isn't going to be the only time that happens.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I couldn't believe she had the balls to even ask her to do that.
Yeah. I was like, are you serious? Like people ask that kind of thing? Like, that's crossing a line, in my opinion.
See, I can reference this inside this to I have seen a movie where something similar happens, but you have not. It's oh my god, what's the name of that show? or movie. It's Charlie Bartlett, and you've never seen Charlie Bartlett.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. I don't know.
And he literally does. He has a therapist, and he goes to the therapist, and then goes back to the school and gives like counseling to people, and helps people that way. And like it's Anton
Yelchin.
Thank you. Yep. I knew you knew who I was talking about.
Yep.
Love that kid. I'm so sad he passed away.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, and he pretty much does the same thing though. He goes to his therapy and he's like, "Oh, I've got these symptoms and I've got this problem and blah blah blah." And his therapist, because he's got good fucking insurance, is like, "Oh, you need this medication. Oh, you need this." And then he goes back and pretty much does what Ellen was doing.
Interesting.
So I had seen something like that before, so I knew it happens.
Oh, okay.
But it was the first time I've ever seen it done in a TV show.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, but I thought it was a dick move on Sophie's part to put her, to even just put Ellen in that situation. Yeah. But honestly, I had something else I wanted to say before that. It was in my notes that I wanted to bring up. Right before that, Jesse tells a story because they're trying to make Ellen feel better about stuff. And he tells a story about his college girlfriend, right? And I was really hoping for a flashback in this moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, we've seen them in college. So we know that they can do a flashback because we've seen it. He'd have the blonde hair, whatever. I was like, I want to see that. Like, that's what How I Met Your Mother was. It had all kinds of like great little flashbacks and things like that.
Yeah.
And that was a perfect moment for just like a short little flashback to him catching his college girlfriend cheating on him with the TA. And we didn't get that. And I was so bummed.
No. How funny would it have been though if the TA was like Ted Mosby? Sorry,
dude,
bro.
Would have been hilarious. Would have been hilarious.
How the college girlfriend was oh god, no, it wasn't. Oh
it was
god,
Karen. Karen still at college.
Sorry, bro.
That would have been hilarious. Dude, they could have done that too. They could have done the story, bro. Like it would have been an awesome. It would have been an awesome flashback and a great reference to How I Met Your Mother. And it's like a missed opportunity. But anyways, back to Sophie and Ellen and whatnot. Ellen does do what Sophie asked.
Yeah, which I would reluctantly probably wouldn't have.
Yeah,
that therapy session, man, she needs to be focused on herself, and like that's kind of like the underline to her whole side of her story.
You know what I would have done, John? I would have Googled it, right? And then just told Sophie whatever Google told me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because like I thought to myself the whole time, because like I said, it's kind of the running stick about Ellen's storyline is that like she needs to stand up for herself and do her thing, but everybody kind of keeps like trumping her and like, hey, tell your therapist this, like ask about this. And I'm like, why not just Google shit?
Yeah.
Like
it's like
clearly
it's 2022, 2023, whatever. I'm not sure exactly when they're in at this moment, but like just Google shit. Like that's literally what we do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm just like, so once it gets revealed about his necklace being his mom,
yeah,
I'm like, he could have had a smaller diamond made.
Okay. So they show the commercial for this thing. Okay. And the diamond is significantly smaller in the commercial. Future Sophie's kid says, or no, I think it's the gang. The members of the gang say, there's no way it's that big. That's how Sophie remembers it. That doesn't mean it was that big, though.
Okay, it's kind of like the Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. It's, that or like
for Ted's telling of the story.
It's what they refer to as the unreliable narrator, because Ted was that.
Well, that's why I said like the old guy that Robin dated.
Yeah.
He wasn't old, but for the sake of Ted telling the story, this is how he saw him.
That's how he saw it, yeah. So I feel like I don't think it was actually that big.
That's what she said.
That's fair.
That makes a lot more sense.
Because we only ever see it through Sophie's memory, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you get, one-on-one time with anybody else. It's Sophie.
That is true.
Because even at the end, when he's with the other girl, it's just Sophie saying, this is what I think happened.
Yeah.
I even wrote a short story about it,
Fair.
So,
well, because I was thinking about it because I'm like,
because that is huge.
I wear my dog tags on the regular, and I've got mom's ashes on my dog tags.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's smaller than my fucking either of my dog tags.
Yeah,
I'm like, and here he is with like this fucking like.
I don't think that the amount of ash from a human body could make a diamond that big.
I don't think so either.
I just don't think it would.
I will say this though, in comparison of jewelry to things that I've seen in other sitcoms / movies, that was the heart of the ocean, bro.
Dude, I thought that same thing. I'm like, yo, is he wearing the freaking thing from Titanic? I was like, wait, it's not blue. It's not blue. Okay. But it was like that size. It was huge.
Yeah. So for anybody who's like listening who hasn't seen this episode by any chance yet, think of the heart of the ocean from Titanic, but it was in like a teardrop shape.
Yeah.
Fucking, and it was white too. It was like gaudy fucking white diamond.
Mm-hmm.
Like throw a little fucking coloring into that shit or something. Or the chain could have been a color.
Yeah, this thick ass chain too.
Like she wasn't wrong when she described it as something Flava Flav would wear. I'm like, oh, wholeheartedly.
Oh yeah,
like that is Flava Flav chain for reals.
Mm-hmm.
Early 2000s John Cena.
Yes, Dr. Thugonomics style. Oh yeah.
Any rapper on the LA coast.
That's fair.
Biggie Smalls.
But Sophie does eventually, because Ellen's therapist comes back with advice because Ellen pretends that it's about her.
Which I feel bad because then it adds to an element where like she's wasted at this point a few therapy sessions by the end of it. Talking about shit on their parts that now the therapist has to go back and undo in her notes because she thinks like Ellen's girlfriend wears this gaudy necklace that she's got this issue with, and like
she's gonna there's gonna be a lot of repair happening because eventually she does get back there. But so Sophie is self-sabotaging, so she does talk to Oscar about the necklace, and that's when he reveals that it's his mom, and she's not sure whether or not she can handle this. And I'm just like like, why? Like, what's the big deal?
Well, here's my thing though. Does he wear that shit in the shower and stuff?
I mean, honestly, I probably.
Because I mean, like, when I'm at home, 95%...
He doesn't bother to take it off for sex, so probably.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, 95% of the time when I'm at home, I'm not wearing my dog tags and shit. That's just when I leave the house and stuff.
Yeah.
And I go to... It's for me that needs to be with me. And that's why mom's on there. But, like, when I take a shower and I'm home and I'm relaxing, they're hung up respectively, and I know right where they're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand people who can wear jewelry in the shower. I can't. Even when I had a wedding ring, I wouldn't wear it in the shower. I wouldn't even wear it to bed. I wouldn't sleep with it. I put it.
I have a ring that I paid almost $300 for. I can't just wear it around though. Like, nope.
Yeah, I get it. But I think he probably did, to be honest with you. Because I think he's had a hard time grieving with it, which I get.
I mean, I get that too, especially being a parent.
Yeah, we've both lost parents, so like, I totally understand why he wouldn't want to. But it's you gotta find a way to move forward in your life eventually. I don't know. I don't think they tell us like when she died though either.
No, well, that's the thing. They don't really tell you how long it's been.
Yeah, so I mean,
like,
it could be a year, dude, she could have been dead for 15 years.
Yeah.
And he could still be rocking this. Who knows? I have no idea. So
cake rocks the potty that rocks the potty.
That it does, my friend. That it does. But her and Oscar end up having sex. And apparently it's amazing, but she still finds it weird with the necklace. And so she convinces him to take it off, and they have sex again, and then it's terrible.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think this is some magic necklace? Do you think it's a confidence thing with him? Do you think it's something with her? What are your thoughts?
I think it was all psychological with her.
Okay.
I think that personally, it was a distraction.
Okay.
You figure that thing was big. It was probably swinging around a lot. She was probably enjoying the sex. There was probably some crazy shit going on. He took it off. There goes the distraction.
I also think there might be an element of like guilt with her.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Because she convinced him to take his mother off. You know what I mean? And I think there could be an element of guilt that's making her not enjoy the sex anymore.
Wholeheartedly. You know I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have seen her actually go to a therapist and figure that out.
I mean, you know? I would love to be a fly on the wall when some people do therapy anyway, because I would love to hear some of the shit that, like that. Like, I would love to hear her be just like, so I'm dating this guy who wears this fucking necklace, and like, the sex is amazing, but since he took it off, the sex has been... I would love to just see the therapist be like, okay, how does that make you feel? Like,
yeah. How does that make you feel? Yeah. But yeah, so like she continues to ask Ellen for therapy
sends
advice.
Ellen back again with that one.
And this is like the third time that she does it. And it's like, come on.
And then others piggyback on this one specifically.
Yeah.
When Ellen goes back.
Yeah, Jesse and Vale do.
And I'm just like, come on.
Which we'll get to that, but yeah. It's just like it's too much. You're asking, like, I get you're all kind of like not necessarily poor, but you obviously don't have good enough jobs that get you health insurance so that you can have therapy.
Well, it's funny because me and you were literally just talking about therapy yesterday and how expensive and pricey that it can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just like, I can't imagine living in a rural suburb area that I live in, and a therapy session is almost $100 a session. I can't imagine what it's got to be like in New York City to try to find a therapist.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're talking priciness going on. It's crazy, and that's why like I'm lucky in the like I don't have a job right now, so the only good thing I got going on is I got health insurance.
Yeah.
Because I got Medicaid right now, and so like I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So all the medical shit that I got going on, I don't have to worry about that. But like if I had a job, I wouldn't have that insurance, and I wouldn't be able to pay for any of like my treatments and stuff, which are like $20,000 a piece.
Yeah.
No, wouldn't happen. It's like it's insane how much healthcare stuff is. It's crazy. That's one of those things that Canada got right.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're
not wrong.
And I know that it has its flaws, but you're not going to go bankrupt dying from cancer. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, so that's the way I look at it. But yeah, so we're getting back into this.
I will say I loved it at the end of the story, like for Sophie's story.
Yeah,
her and Oscar decide they're not going to work. He's clearly in bed with another.
Oscar decides that her and Oscar aren't going to work because of, dude, what she does. Instead of taking the advice, she goes a different route.
She totally goes a different route.
And decides to essentially try to trick him into putting the necklace back on. And it's like, what are you? Just be upfront with this guy. And maybe you could have salvaged something.
Maybe. I mean, I think so.
Yeah. Also, apparently she had no idea that Aladdin had sequels.
Yeah. And I thought that was weird too, because like,
because Ellen's like, I'm watching Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar. She's like, he returns?
yeah.
Like, she had no idea.
Granted, I know that Aladdin 2 is Return of Jafar, Aladdin 3 is The Prince of Thieves. It deals with Aladdin's father.
Yes.
I have never seen 2 or 3, but I at least know they fucking exist.
Yeah, you know they exist. You know their names. Like, I'm just saying, like.
I can also say that I've never seen Little Mermaid 2.
She's not that far off from our age.
Nope.
She just turned 30, right?
30, so she's 8 years younger than us.
So, like, she still fell within that realm of watching that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She was a kid when those movies came out.
I was going to say, she would have been a kid when those came out, because Little Mermaid and Lion King and shit came out when we were just slightly above that age.
Yeah, exactly. We
were like 10 and 11 when like Aladdin came out.
Yeah, I think it came out in 94, so I think we would have been 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, let that sink in there, people. There are people who I'm not, like I said, I haven't seen them, but I know they exist.
Yes.
And there are people who don't even know they exist.
Yeah. I own all 3 Aladdin movies. So
do you?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I do. Yeah. I have seen
them VHS or DVD?
DVD.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe so. Like, I own the DVD, I think, and the Blu-ray of Aladdin, because that's my favorite from that time frame. But then I have burned copies when I was doing all the burned DVDs for a while of the other 2.
That is how I got my copy of Aladdin.
Yeah.
Riff raff.
Yep.
Street
So,
but
yeah, Oscar dumps her right on the spot there.
On the spot, dude.
Yep, and that storyline is done.
Dude, we drug that.
I doubt we'll see him again.
We drug that one on.
Yeah, you know.
All right, so let's go for. Obviously, there's only one left.
Yeah, there's one left. We got Vale and Jesse. The first time seeing them, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Together like that.
I mean, primarily by themselves, yes.
Yeah. And I thought this was actually a really interesting one.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny, but I could see this happening though, too. Like, this is something that like people could deal with on a regular.
Yeah. So, Jesse, he's unemployed, so he goes to a temp agency, and he gets sent to Valentina's job to be her assistant.
Yeah. Which I'm like, what kind of qualifications does this guy have to work in a fashion boutique as an assistant?
I mean, if it's just like running around and getting her stuff, I mean, which is what it seems like. It's what they call a gopher.
But he still didn't know the thing about the pumps.
That's true.
Or the color.
Yeah, he had to Google what a pump was.
Yeah. No offense, I didn't know what the fuck a pump was. I thought there was a difference between pumps and heels.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, I thought a pump was a specific kind of heel. I don't know.
More like a wedge? Because I thought it was more like a wedge.
Yeah, I mean, because like there's like stilettos, which are heels. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
There's different kinds of heels, so I don't know exactly what it is.
Let us know
at Last Call HIMYM. Let us know your thoughts.
When her and him first started having the conversation about the shoes, I thought she asked if they were stretched. I thought she asked him to stretch her pumps out for him or for her. And then I was realizing that they were talking about the color. And I'm like, I've lost all interest in this already. Because like I felt stupid and gotcha. I was just like, whatever. But
no, I get it.
I saw something with this part of the storyline that reminds me of something we're coming up with in How I Met Your Mother. And it's the chain of screams.
Yes, I literally wrote that in my notes.
Boom! I love when you and I are on the same page, bro.
Yes. Because as soon as he yelled at her and then she yells at Jesse, I was like, is this a chain of screaming thing? Like, like, is that what this is?
First off, before we even address the screaming, can we address the dude has a printer just for chucking?
He's got a throwing printer. And I was like, I need something like that.
I thought the same thing.
Like, can you make sure you tape up my throwing printer?
No, not even that. Make sure it's taped up for my afternoon throwing.
Yeah, my afternoon
throwing. Yeah. I was like, he has scheduled throwings? I need this. That's anger management in a nutshell.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. He's just got a designated printer that's already been taped up multiple times.
So much.
Yeah, he just chucks that thing across the room. So
Granted,
funny.
I love that they tape the top down and stuff though, so it doesn't like open and like the glass on that thing's probably broke though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought that was great. But dude, that guy is such a dick.
Such a dick.
He's a dickhead, and Sophie or Val just leans into that. As soon as she gets a little power with Jesse being there, she falls right into line with what her own boss does. Like you said, we talked. It's like it's similar to the chain of screaming. It's the chain of dickishness. I don't know.
I like that chain of dickishness.
Yeah. But Jesse, however, does something that nobody did in How I Met Your Mother really until Marshall flipped, and he stood up to her right away. Instead of letting it build up and take it out on somebody else and all this other thing and let it actually continue as a chain, he stood up to her, which I was like, go Jesse, because the episode before, 2 episodes before, he wouldn't have done that.
Oh no, and I thought the same thing to myself too. I was like, it's nice to see that with Meredith gone, we're getting normal Jesse back, and a Jesse who can stand up for himself at the same time.
Yeah, agreed.
But clearly, though, you're 100% correct, because the episode of How I Met Your Mother with the chain of screaming could have easily been solved with somebody just putting their foot down. And it was nice to see like a break in the chain. Yeah. Because then she goes back and says something to her boss and gets promoted.
Right?
And I'm like, what?
I mean, that was the advice, the advice was to quit. And she does. Like, she goes off on her boss and she quits right then and there. He's so like impressed with that. He gives her a promotion. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Sweet. As long as he doesn't continue to be that way. Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I'm like getting a promotion for that.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the guy who has a throwing printer. I mean, seems like that's what he responds to.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
And Jesse realized that his self-worth is essentially in the toilet.
I mean, after the whole Meredith thing, does that shock you?
No, not at all. And the therapist recommended to be around people who make you feel good about yourself. And the people that make him feel good about himself were his former students. Yeah. And so he makes the decision.
That's something we forgot to mention too, is that we got a return of Josh in this episode. Yeah. Well, which
Drew.
Kind of made, or Drew. Yeah. Sorry. I'm so used to yeah. But I love that he makes Drew Drew makes Josh makes Jesse beg for it.
Yeah, he does.
If you're gonna do this, I need something from you. Yeah. And he's like, I love the flashback when he's like, if you come crawling back, I'm gonna make you say, "Who's my daddy? Drew's my daddy." Yeah. And I'm like, I respect that. I mean, he has to have his own fucking pride as well. Like,
yeah, but I feel like he's also doing it because he took Sophie from him.
Oh, wholeheartedly, and you know that.
So like
that. I mean, undeniably, that's exactly why he did it. Yeah. But I mean, it's still funny.
I'm curious how, because he goes back to the school. He does it. He says, "Who's your daddy? Drew's my daddy," which that was hilarious.
What is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done to get your job back anywhere?
To get my job back,
Have you ever went back to a place and had to grovel?
I mean, once, but it was just like me apologizing and saying that what I did was wrong, even though I didn't believe it.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean that was really. I didn't have to say who's my daddy, or like not like something crazy like
who's my daddy. You're like, I don't know who my daddy is.
But I wonder how will their dynamic be now.
I'm wondering that same thing because I thought about that. I was like, man, he's going to be working under him, and that's going to be awkward.
It's like, will Drew be a dick to him?
Oh,
now?
I don't doubt that he's gonna be or not gonna be, because I mean, he was being a dick to Sophie the last time that he was around her.
It's true.
He was also fucking drunk and had a weird spray tan. But
the orange creamsicle.
The orange creamsicle.
But going back to your question, have you ever had to do anything like that? I feel like I don't know. Part of me just feels like that you wouldn't, but hey,
no,
I don't know.
I was thinking that. I'm like, I don't think that's really in my character.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I've never went back to a job.
Oh, okay.
You figure for most of my work career, I spent almost 10 years at one job.
It's true.
Like,
yeah. Thought
about that the other day too. The fact that I was there 2 weeks shy of 10 years.
Yeah.
And just shut the door on it.
Hey, when you know, you know. That's the way it goes.
It was a good move.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the right move for But
yeah, back to the Sophie thing, or not Sophie,
Jesse. Yeah.
I think he's making the right choice to go back to where he's happy.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see where it's going to take him.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious how long they'll wait before, because we already know that Sophie is going to have another guy at some point during this season. We already know that.
How is Jesse going to react to it?
Well, but I'm curious, how long are they going to wait before having them get back together? Because you know it's inevitable. Whether or not he's the father, I don't know. But there's no way that the two of them don't get back together for some portion of time at some point. It's just everything was unresolved, really, and I feel like we need better closure. If he isn't the father, we need some better closure. And if he is the father, obviously, then they will get together. You know what I mean?
Fair.
So I'm curious about that. Do you think we will see that by the end of the season? Do you think we won't see that at all this season?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Let us know, folks, at Last Call, HIMYM.
Also, because we still got one little thing to touch up on, which is Ellen's downfall to re-rise.
Yeah.
So after everybody puts their 2 cents in on the whole Ellen story, her therapist fucking cancels on her and pretty much tells her, I know that your friends. Yeah. She's like, I know your friends are having you come in with all these things and asking, so I'm canceling you as a patient. Yeah. And my heart sank for her because I'm like, this girl
she just wants to make her life better.
Yeah.
Man.
She wants to be happy. And her friends are causing her nothing but grief and more misery at this point. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you people should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Yeah. But luckily enough, the 3 of them band together and go and what's the word I'm looking for? Badger. The therapist.
Dude, the way Sophie screams in her face. Holy shit, dude. That was wild.
100% wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy wild.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh damn. She just like unloads. But it worked. Screaming. It worked. Yeah, chain of screaming. You're right. It worked. It got her. It got Ellen back into therapy, and hopefully it'll stick for a while. We'll see.
Hopefully,
I'm sure we'll see them again. Like I'm sure we'll see the therapist again. We'll probably see moments of Ellen in therapy in various episodes. Probably, who knows? But I like it. So I think that's about everything for this one. What were your overall thoughts?
I liked this episode. Like I said, it really reminded me a lot of the Chain of Screaming. Artillery Arthur, played by
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob. Yeah, God, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's too funny. I love him.
I was watching something yesterday. What was I? Oh, because I've been watching Modern Family. Guess who made an appearance on Modern Family as well?
Who?
Mike.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
And I was like, oh, it's Mike. I was like,
Yeah.
wonder if he was working the fucking booth.
Mike Ehrmantraut. Love that guy.
That dude's awesome, man. So many great people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked this episode. I out of all the episodes that we've talked about, there was one episode early in the season where I was like, this had a real How I Met Your Mother feel. This one had a real How I Met Your Mother feel. Yeah. This one it hit me in the feels, and I was like, oh man. And especially since Chain of Command is coming up within the next couple of episodes that we'll be covering on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I can't. Like, it really felt like watching How I Met Your Mother again. Yeah. So I love it, and I can't wait to see where we're going.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this show is going. It's fun not knowing, because
and I like that.
We've seen How I Met Your Mother so many times.
Yeah,
so we know where everything is going, which is great. It's cool. It's fun to talk about. I know how it all ties in, but it's really nice to have it just be a big mystery as we talk about it. We don't really know what's going to happen, and it's exciting.
100%. And like you said, though, and that's one of the things about How I Met Your Mother, though, is that we've watched it so many times that we might get things out of order once in a while because we've watched it so many times.
Yeah.
But there's no excitement to it anymore because we know it's there.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still excited in general to talk about because it's fun. It's a good show. But yeah, there's not that sense of what's going to happen, so yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are definitely things every once in a while, things pop up though. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Or
that is true. Those are always good times when you forget something's about to happen. And then it's like, oh shit, hells yeah, that just happened. But yeah. All right, folks.
One of the things I'm really looking forward to in the late seasons of How I Met Your Mother, because every time he pops up, I always forget until it happens. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh my God, yeah, I love that.
That is one of my favorite little. Yeah, well, anytime he pops up in anything, he popped up in an episode of Modern Family as well.
Yeah, he played a guy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine too.
Yeah, he plays Amy's brother.
Yep. Good times. All right, so I think that about wraps everything up. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you?
Listen, I'm pretty simple to find, people. I'm on Twitter at SimplySayingJ1 right here. If you're watching the podcast, hop on over at Twitter. I have a blog. I have a podcast. I'm working on some ideas to bring the podcast back, make things a little bit fresher, a little bit more double the E, double the Z, double the flavor type shit. Maybe I'll get a guest on there again, i.e. being Josh, because he's the only person I have that's ever interesting.
Woo.
And there are so many things I can talk about that he's also been involved with, because my life is very crazy, and he's the only person I trust with all my secrets. So deal with that, folks. What about you, sir?
You guys can find me on Twitter at movieblog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with Movie Blog. If you are watching this on YouTube, you are watching it on the Merc with Movie Blog YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, click that little fucking bell wherever it is. And John, you had a little something last time.
Yeah. If you're using your mobile devices to watch this and you click that little bell, you can set it to notify you at different times when we drop videos to keep yourself current with our product.
Boom. Do that. It's going to be good for you. You know you want it. And if you are listening on audio with your ear holes, you can head on over to anchor.fm.
I mean, in theory, even if they're watching it, they've got to use their ears to listen.
I mean, I guess that's true. You can head over to anchor.fm/last call HIMYM and leave us a voice message. We would love to hear from you guys. Hear your beautiful voices or your not so beautiful voices. I don't know. Whatever you have to say, questions, comments, concerns, whatever. You put it on there. We'll play it on air, and we'll discuss what you got to say.
Hell yeah.
And if you're on Apple Podcasts, you can leave us a 5-star review if you like what you're listening to. And we will read your comment out on air as well. And be sure to hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Last Call HIMYM. Follow us there, like us, whatever they do on all those platforms. Be sure to do that. I'm on there pretty regularly, so definitely check that out.
He is. He's a regular person, and I'm not
That's right.
just talking about his bowel movement.
Boom. That's all I got for him, man. What do you got for him?
Don't pull it on unless she asks, or unless she's sleeping. Bong. Listen, as bad as that is, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, I'm sorry. And listen, I don't have time to listen, and you don't have to go home, but you can't listen here.
Catch you next time.